There you go.
Okay, great.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Here we go.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me first say, my name's Michelle Hurst. I'm I have to think, who am I this morning? First District PTA's membership vice president. And so I'm going to do the workshop for you guys this morning. And I want to, I'm going to start with a little apology. I prepared a PowerPoint. We're going to go through it, but it's the most boring PowerPoint you've probably ever seen. And I'm sorry, I didn't have time to make it pretty. I tried a quick fix, and I thought that was worse. So it's as plain as it comes. Please forgive me. But I think the content is the important part. So if we can get past that, like, man, this is boring. The information, I hope, is good for you. Actually, let's do a quick, so I know who everybody is. I met Lorena online.
So good morning. So good morning, everybody. So I know Andrea, but I don't know May. So Lorena Hernandez, and I'm a parent of 2 PUSD students. And this year I am serving PTA Council as VP of Membership.
Great.
I'm May Koenig. I'm a parent of an incoming second grader as of Monday. And I've been the VP of Membership. This is my second year.
Great.
Last year, we rolled out Totem for the first time because I think previous years they wanted to delay it. And we pushed through, and I'm really, really glad we did, because I don't know how we otherwise would be getting membership right now. So that's actually worked out really nicely. So hoping to learn maybe sort of what PTA might be thinking of doing, especially as we're sort of in this virtual environment, and suggestions for how we can kind of encourage membership. I know some of the anecdotal questions I've gotten from just some of my friends is, well, why should I join? There won't be any events. There won't be any field trips. There won't be any, even as we were talking about the stipends that we provide to the teachers for classroom supplies. Well, they probably will have some subscriptions or things like that, but trying to figure out, well, how do we really show that direct correlation of how membership dues, for example, translates to benefiting their children. So
perfect. That is stuff we're going to talk a bit about.
Great.
Perfect.
Yay.
Hi,
I'm Andrea. No, I know we're like robots talking.
Right, it's like
are you
timing.
Stuck? First year doing membership. My kids are at San Rafael. We're POSD students. Obviously, my daughter will be in 5th grade. My son will be in 3rd. Just really trying to navigate the new world that is this, I mean, I emailed Lorena, like, what are we going to do if we can't give $10 to a person? Like, how is that going to translate for some? So I know that it's important just getting an actual accurate who the members are, who paid, who everything, and the fact that everything can be on one website or one platform, whatever you want to call it, is just phenomenal. So there's no confusion. Click, pay, yes, good, we're good to go. Let's do this.
Okay, awesome. It sounds both of you elementary schools, and I'll be honest, I think especially this year that's going to be the toughest, I think, level of membership. But we'll talk about that. But I'm glad I don't have to convince you all to get on Totem. I feel like we're just chatting, so we'll get to that later in the presentation, but I'm glad that there's been some pushback with Totem. Not everybody loves it. There's a lot of unhappiness over the fee, and I get that. I can't, it is what it is, and I hate that phrase, but anyway, but I'm fine. Like this year, it's a gift. Pasadena, I just looked up, you've got 1,029 members already. That's amazing. So, okay, good. All right, should we jump into the boring, I shouldn't say boring, the not pretty presentation. So I'm going to try and share my screen here. there's my presentation. Oh, share. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm saying out loud. Oh, my mom, I used to work with this woman, and she drove me nuts. I can't believe I said that out loud. And I'm doing exactly what she did that made me crazy. I don't see that my PowerPoint's on the screen.
It is.
It is.
It is?
Let's see it. Mhm.
Oh, okay, great. So it said, you've got the membership basics. You can see that.
Now we just have a white screen.
Is it back?
Right
There it
there.
is.
Yes.
Okay.
I think if you go under view and click there, I think it should give you the option to make it screen.
Oh. No. I'm a little embarrassed. I'm just gonna let you guys tell me if you can see it or not. Is that all right?
We can
Okay.
see it.
Great. All right. Thanks. Okay, then here we go. Membership basics. And this is the prettiest slide in the whole thing. This is the only one with color. Introduce myself. I'm Michelle Hurst. It's my email address if you care to email me directly. All right. So what we're going to cover today, why membership is important, and we can say why membership is still important. And then we also are going to cover just basic membership information. It will probably be a repeat for Lorena in May, but we're going to cover the nuts and bolts of membership. Some things don't necessarily apply this year, but I think it doesn't hurt to cover the information. And resources. I will say that for membership, there are so many resources available. This is one thing I love about membership. I'll say flat out, I'm not always the most creative. I'm rarely the one to come up with a theme, although I did come up with the first district theme. But I'm never the first one. It's like, and I'm to do the creative thing. There are so many resources to help in membership. I love it. We'll talk to that at the end, and then totem. So there you go. Okay.
Michelle?
Oh, yeah.
Before you keep going, I know we have someone who just joined.
Oh.
So we just, welcome Carla Vallejo. I don't know if Carla's, if it's elementary or
listening. I'm here. Hi.
Oh, good morning. Thank you for
Good
joining
morning.
us. Good morning. So we did a quick introduction before. We have May and Andrea, both from elementary school, myself, elementary and middle school, and Michelle Hurst with First District PTA.
We're all first district, right? Yeah. Lorena, I think we met the other day. You dropped the envelopes off.
Oh,
for
yes.
me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. There you go, Carla. Hi.
Yes. So yeah, I'm just trying to get all the information I possibly can before we start school next week.
Perfect.
I've already done some trainings and stuff like that, but I just like to join on whatever I can. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Carla. Sorry, Michelle. I just wanted to acknowledge we had someone else.
I'm very glad you did that. And actually, I'm sorry, I gotta stop for a second. Allison said, everybody take a selfie of yourself and send it to her at some point, if you want to do it now or whenever, some point during the training. And I can't see the chat right now. Can you see it, Lorena?
I can see it. Yes.
Okay. I don't know why I can't see it. I thought I had this Zoom thing a better handle on it, and I'm.
No, you know what happens, and it's a little confusing, even for those of us that use it regularly. I think when we share the presentation, it's just it takes over the whole screen, and it's really hard to see the people who are on unless you're super familiar with it. Like, it's just presentations. So I'll keep my window, my chat open. So if anybody has any comments, they can type them in there, and then I'll read them, great. and I'll interrupt and keep going.
Perfect. Thank you. And I want to really thank you all for your kindness and understanding some of my challenges. Okay. So here we go. Oh, I'm curious though, Carla, elementary, middle, or high school? I just got a curiosity. Elementary. Okay, great. All three of you are elementary. Mm-hmm. Okay. So why PTA membership is important. Whoa, sorry. And I think really this year, I actually, in a strange way, I have to try and look for a silver lining for things. And I think that maybe this year with membership, we can focus on what membership really is, that we're an advocacy organization. It's unlikely that we will provide a lot of the services, especially at the elementary school. You know, there's certainly not going to be I'm assuming you guys are doing you guys are doing all virtual, at least the first semester. Is that right, in Pasadena?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. All right. I didn't want to say the wrong thing. So you're not going to have like a fall carnival, something like that. I think a lot of the things that you normally do for elementary, certainly in the first semester, are not going to happen. So we need to focus on really what we are, and our mission is advocacy. PTA is a membership-based organization, and we are the oldest and largest nonprofit child advocacy organization in the United States. Nationwide, we have over 22,000 local PTA units, and nationwide 3.5 million members. In California, last year, I think we were in the neighborhood of 750,000 members. And in the state of California, I think we have a ballpark 2,000 units. So, you know, we're a, strong advocacy organization. In our 120-year history, we've advocated for hot lunch program, anti-child labor laws, universal kindergarten. You probably hear that list every Founders Day. But we also advocate at the local and state level as well. And I think you have such a gift there with Jeff as your legislation and advocacy chair. He's amazing, and I'm sure he keeps you guys up to date on what you're doing for your local students and your students across the state of California. So, and we'll talk about this again, or we'll hit this topic again. Literally, just being a member of PTA is important, because you're adding to that larger voice of advocating for students. And that really is our strength as a PTA. Whoops. All right, so I'm going to jump into membership basics. Responsibilities of the membership chairman or vice president. And it's really important that you each know your school community better than I can certainly tell you what's going to work at your school community. Lorena hopefully knows what's, each of the communities in your school district, but you know what's going to work better for you. You need to set a membership theme and a goal. And this year, it's tougher than most to set a theme and a goal. I can tell you, I personally really struggled with the goal. All the information I've seen, all of the trainings, the state training, they always focus on set an attainable goal. And I was torn because, quite honestly, we expect a drop in membership this year. Realistically, I think maybe when you work with your treasurers on your budget, you probably want to budget for a drop in membership, but I just hate admitting that and saying it out loud. So we discussed, like, at First District, our goal, sneak peek at our association meeting, our goal is just one more member in each unit. We'd be delighted to sustain the membership that we have, and to have, if it's even just one more, I think that would be great. So, talk with your executive board. What do you guys, think? How, I know you've had some school closures in Pasadena, and so I'm assuming, are those students redistributed then to, so it'll be interesting. There you go. So the goal and theme, and some ideas on goals. one that state PTA has had and First District is doing again is, focusing on 100% teacher membership, or you might want to focus on dads or 100% student enrollment. That one's actually really tough. In some school districts, it's a piece of cake. Everybody joins the PTA and it's no big deal. And in other school districts, it's a difficult one. So you'll know if that's going to work in your school or not. Hopefully if you're creative and love to, think of new ideas and put great displays together, this is where some membership chairs have a ton of fun with their goal and challenge. And back when you used to have a bulletin board in the school office, you could put all your stuff on. This year it's all new and different, but actually we've got some great resources I'll touch on later. Goal and theme. And since you're all elementary, your goals and themes are usually different than the middle and high schools. I think once you get to the middle and high schools, I think there is more of a focus on advocacy. And the elementary schools, I think it's more, what you're doing for your students at your school site. So, all right. I'm going to go to the, uh-oh. I don't know what happened there. Uh-oh. Okay. Okay, good. That's the one I meant to be. That'll be the next slide. Perceptions of PTA. This is really interesting and super important. National PTA recently did an in-depth study, and they actually did a study a few years ago as well about people's perceptions of PTA. And I think it reveals a lot. The biggest takeaway is that people's perception of the PTA or the image or the perceived value is completely based on what happens at their school site. And so I think and what benefits they see at their school site, the behavior, I think we'll say, they see at their school site. Is the executive board warm and welcoming? Do they work as a team? I think the death of PTA is the clique. That is the number one thing that turns people off from PTA, where it's perceived that it's like, it's that group of moms that hang out, at the fence at the gate after school starts or before pickup, and I'm never one of the group. Well, that is just the worst thing possible for PTA. So I'm wondering if our virtual world is a gift for that. Maybe it's more difficult to be part of a clique virtually. I'm not sure. I'm just throwing that one out there. But and I'm going to repeat it, I'm sorry, probably 10 times during the presentation. It's what happens at your school site is so impactful and so important in relationship to membership. Oh, right. So those people see your local PTA leaders as the PTA leader. Allison is the PTA president. Lorena, you are the membership vice president. You're the one everybody's going to go to. So it's really important that you've got to be warm and welcoming and set the right examples. Let's see. I'm sorry, I got to refer to my notes a little bit because I don't want to leave anything out. The study also revealed current PTA members believe in the value and benefit of PTA. But prospective members have strong perception of the old stereotypes and clique. Right, I already said that. The study also said few people, I don't know if I want to say understand or even aware of state PTA and national PTA. And that certainly was true of me when I first joined PTA. But really, especially I will say state PTA is such a strong support network for your local unit PTA. Everything from compliance paperwork, unfortunately, which is necessary for all the governmental agencies, to I'm very excited about the resources near the end of my presentation. So, state PTA is there to help you also. All righty. why parents don't join PTA. Now, a lot of this information applies to our pre-COVID world, but I'm going to hope that it's still useful in our current situation and going forward. Some people just don't want to be forced or asked to volunteer. And the response to that is you don't have to. Simply being a member of the PTA, joining, adding to that voice of advocacy is enough. Of course, we always want more volunteers. That's another issue. I remember years ago at state convention, there was a speaker, and he said, basically, you don't ask someone to marry you on the first date. You know, let someone join, let them come to a meeting or two. Don't jump in the deep end with new members. Just be warm and welcoming and let them know you're glad that they care about the kids at your school site. They don't want to be obligated to attend meetings. Same message applies. Membership in and of itself is important. Your dues help support what happens to the students at your school, in your school district, on and on. But I will say the feedback I'm hearing about Zoom meetings is certainly like at council meetings I'm hearing they're getting larger attendance. I don't know if you're experiencing that or not. So I think it's kind of interesting. That might be a weird benefit. And yeah, people don't want to be asked to take on a task. A good friend of mine who actually is the current state membership vice president, he told the story that, he reluctantly joined his PTA, and they did ask him if he would take tickets at the high school football game. And he thought, well, all right, I'll miss the first quarter of the game, but I'm going to the game anyway, fine, blah, blah, blah. And he said, like, 2 years later, he was the unit president. So once you finally do warm up, start slow. Don't throw them in the deep end or propose on the first date. Let people go at their own pace. All right. Okay, market and promote the value of PTA. All right, there is a lot of information on this one. Add voices to the PTA advocacy voice. To successfully market PTA and grow membership, each one of us must understand the benefits and be able to explain them. Is this where I want to talk about? Understand? I'm sorry. Okay, again, they really focus on, it's such a people-based thing, membership. We have to be kind, thoughtful, polite. We cannot, that stereotype of the mean moms or what, we cannot do that.
Michelle, can I ask you a question real quick?
Please.
Do they have any sort of advice because we're not in person? I know, like you said, all this is based on in person, but have they revised any sort of information that could be beneficial to our situations?
Do you mean in relationship to having meetings, to what services you can provide?
In general, yes.
In general.
Like how do we promote it in a way where people aren't going to, I mean, in all honesty, some people are going to be like, I don't want to be on a screen, like click, no thank you kind of thing. But how do we not do that? Or how do we have them not think that way?
Right. I think, the message I keep seeing over and over again is reminding them what your PTA, what you have done in the past at your school site. The messaging I keep seeing, I'll talk a little bit more about it later, but national PTAs did a really great membership presentation. I provided a link in the handouts, and it's in this. And if you have time, I actually really recommend you look at that. They go in depth about who's interested in PTA and who's not, and blah, blah, blah. But to circle back around, hopefully I'm going to answer your question, is that we have to remind them what we do. We don't promote ourselves really enough at PTA. I think a lot of times some parents just assume, and again, I'm sorry, I'm going to preface it with pre-COVID stuff. I think a lot of parents assumed that the school provided that assembly or the school provided that book fair or whatever, and that the PTA does a great job of putting on these functions and events and services, but maybe we haven't always made it clear that we provided that for you and your student.
Gotcha.
Your membership dues helped move that along. So number one, reminding them of all of those things. And also, I think what's going to help the most during COVID is we're a conduit of information. And again, you guys are so lucky in Pasadena with Jeff as your advocacy person. I don't know Allison, but she certainly looks capable and sounds capable and interested and involved. So I have every faith that she's going to provide great information for your council and for you to pass on to your units. I think that I know I can speak for myself. I have one son. I joined PTA when he's in kindergarten. He never told me anything that was happening at school, starting in kindergarten till the end, till high school. The only way I knew what was happening at school was PTA, going to the meetings and then you meet people and blah, blah, blah. And that was my like personal benefit. We are a great resource of information. So I think reinforcing that but making sure you are the great resource for information, I think is where we're going to have to be during COVID. And there's going to be, we don't have all the answers, that's for sure. We have a few great ideas, and I will say it's been interesting to watch and I guess, and be part of kind of the slow realization of the next few months. We'll start there. Who knows what it's going to be like in the winter and who knows. And so it's almost a slow evolution or realization. And so I confess we don't have all the answers now. I wish we did, and all the great plans in place. So we need outside of the box thinkers. It's going to be one of my boring messages on a slide in a couple of minutes. That it's a challenge, but it's also an opportunity to, not always do the same old thing. And I don't know, that's a start to my answer.
No, I mean, that's everyone. That's everywhere. I mean, even at the highest level in our country right now. So
I will say this is totally random, but I was on a PTA webinar, a training a couple nights ago, and they were talking about fundraising. Like, what are we going to do for fundraising? And I know that's not this topic, but I will throw out that the suggestion was go back to the people you normally do fundraising with and see what they've come up with. Apparently Scholastic is already figured out or working on virtual book fairs. And so I think it's it might take a little bit of time, but we'll figure it out. So when it comes to membership, I almost want to apologize, but I'm also, the message is so simple. It's sometimes hard to find 10 different ways to say it's important that people join and support PTA because we advocate for your student. From the kindergartner to the high school senior and beyond. We advocate for the programs. We've got our history of all the historic things we've done. But right now, PTA has a seat at the table when we're trying to figure out how to do virtual learning, how many hours in the school year. I saw a debate the other night in the same training that, a school district somewhere in California, I'm sorry, I have no idea where they were. They were concerned that not enough time with students and their teachers. PTA is in on those conversations. And by being a member, you're helping support being at the table, part of the conversation and decisions. And actually that happens also in your community. Everything I know about Pasadena is you've got a strong, active membership that is certainly engaged with your school district and your school board. And those conversations are really important. So by being a member of PTA, you get that direct line of information where I would never have got that anyplace else.
Thank you.
Right.
That's very helpful, because your two statements are basic, and how else do you say that? So yes, thank you. You did
Okay,
answer my
good.
question.
Because
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
like I feel bad. It's not that,
No, it, like you said,
not earth shattering.
It's simple. It's very simple. Like at this point, like you can't dance around why it's needed.
Thank you. Good. I appreciate that. Good feedback. Okay. So I think we've talked about most of the things. I made a note. I'm sorry. I got it. Let's see. Volunteer, their membership alone. Right. Membership alone is a great value. Oh, all right. But here's like a little commercial. Aside from the advocacy and all that stuff, when it also just comes down to whatever your membership is, I'm going to say $10 because I know a lot of units it's like a nice round number. But I've seen anywhere in the neighborhood from 7 to 10 or a little more. Also, membership can pay for itself. There are some membership perks, discounts on like Hertz if anybody ever rents a car again, or Legoland when we get to go back, the Aquarium of the Pacific. There are, discounts and things like that national and state PTA offer. So, if we can't attract people with their love of doing what's right for kids, you can get a discount to Legoland for joining the PTA. But I think I should mention at this point, unfortunately, don't look for those Baskin Robbins coupons. We've heard from Baskin Robbins that's not coming out, at least not right away. And I think the perks will probably be a little different. I don't know that all of our sponsors can offer some of the things they have in the past. State PTA has not told us yet what the new ones will be. But also there's an opportunity to check in your neighborhoods. What, oh gosh, the example we usually use, I don't know if they're doing haircuts outside, like if a local barber shop, is a big supporter of PTA, maybe they'll give like $1 off haircuts or something like that. You can find your own perks in your own neighborhood that people might appreciate.
Hi.
Oh, all righty. Let's try.
Come here.
I'm double screening it and it takes me a while to move my mouse. Sorry. Okay. Membership plan equals inclusiveness. This is essential. I think now more than ever, if we don't understand this message now, I don't know, that we have to reach out to all audiences at our schools, that everyone needs to be a member of PTA. Create an inviting environment for all. You have to consider everyone on your campus. What are their religious holidays? Don't schedule PTA meetings, on someone else's holiday or your own holiday. You have to develop and maintain respectful relationships. It really is how you interact with people is really the bottom line. And consider people you don't necessarily see normally in your PTA. Our dads, although from evidence, it looks like dads are a part of Pasadena's PTA, and that's awesome, or PTA in Pasadena. But, grandparents, you don't have to be a parent to be a PTA member. You can be a, involved citizen. I continue to join the PTA elementary school that my son went to. It's a little tiny school I have great affection for, and I keep joining them every year now on Totem, my commercial. But, ask anyone and everyone. And it's interesting, from the surveys or the the research studies that National PTA has done and state PTA has said, so often like we fail to actually ask someone to join PTA. We might tell them about PTA or whatever, but as simple as a personal, hey, Lorena, have you joined PTA yet? I think it'd be fun if we went to meetings together, or I would enjoy seeing you at our meetings. Literally, the personal ask is the number one thing.
Michelle, can I add to that? Because when I've been watching the different webinars from PTA state, and that's one of the things that really, just hit home, and I just thought about it. And Carla actually asked me to join her PTA, and I thought, yeah, no one's asked. I will, of course, join your PTA. And as a result of my conversation with Carla, I thought, what other PTAs, within our district would be, could I join? If I don't join all 20, which ones, do I think either are, I can support, et cetera. So absolutely, I think that's the number one thing I kept hearing. And I agree with you 100%. Make the ask. The worst thing they can say is no, but maybe they'll say yes. And like Carla, with me, I'm like, yeah, I'll join your PTA, even though I don't go to your school. Of course. Thank you for asking. No one's asked me.
You're welcome. And thank you for wanting
Yeah.
to join. I'm going to send you the information today because we
Yeah.
finally got on board with Totem a couple days ago. So
Oh, perfect. Then I'll do it today because I
And-
just did it with another school. See, that's wonderful.
Thank
If you ask, I
you.
will do it. Yes.
Thank you. And Michelle, I might send you an email too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
May we have it?
Oh, yes. Did you get the handouts? I'll just tell you now. It's membership@pta1.org.
PTA1.org.
Yeah, like
Thank
first
you.
district, so it's PTA1. Yes, you're welcome.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Sorry,
Oh, yeah.
.org? .org?
Yeah.
.org.
All righty. Yeah, I still join, the elementary school and the high school. But yeah, nobody from the middle school asks me. So fine, be that way. I shouldn't have said that. All righty. Oh, so talking about being inclusive. And I think honestly, it's just different ways to say the same thing. We have to be open and welcoming to every member of our community. And the clique is the worst thing ever. I can't say that enough. Okay, tips for successful membership campaign. Now, some of this information applies to our pre-COVID world. I apologize, but I left it in because we'll have a post-COVID world, and maybe you'll still remember some of this information. It may still be applicable. We'll see. Start early and use multiple touch points. And we'll get more. Again, I'm really excited about the resources that I can share with you near the end of the presentation. But an invitation letter that explains what your PTA hopes to do this year. And which frankly, you can do that this year as well. It might be a challenge, but your goal might be as simple as our PTA has been around for, I'm just going to guess, probably in Pasadena, you've probably been around quite a while. So we'll guess your unit's been there for 70 years supporting your students. You're going to be here this year and next year also. So please help us, continue to advocate for our students. We're going to do our best to provide an online STEAM night or whatever. Up front, try to let them know, keep your message fresh. Always include the ask to join PTA. And this is really important, especially now, instructions how to do that. That's where, yes, Totem now is a gift. Some people don't love it, which is fine. Although I think all of you are on Totem. If you had school websites and did PayPal, that's fine too. And some schools also are doing like a drive-by membership drive or something. Maybe, like I know in my community, I'm from Burbank. Last week, the kids in the middle and high schools were picking up their books, like it was a drive-by thing, and somebody can be there with a box or whatever to please drop in a membership. it's, certainly not the best, but it's an option. As we talked earlier, separate volunteering and attending meetings and doing jobs, separate that from the importance of membership. Membership all by itself is important. Every member of the community. Okay, so from the survey, these are some tactics that work. Start early and often. Use teachers. My personal opinion is that works best when we're in person to help your teachers, influence others to join the PTA. But I think that the PTAs this year are going to be doing their best to still support teachers. And so I think teachers, are still a big part of PTA. Utilize one-on-one outreach. Be welcoming at those meetings. Personal outreach. If you have more than one language spoken at your school site, it's essential that you have translation. And if there's a stronger, let's say there are more people at your school site that speak Spanish than speak English, make sure the majority of the meeting is in Spanish and translate for the English speaking parents, or find a way to combine that. You've got to really know what's happening at your site and what works there.
Michelle, can I add to that? So here in Pasadena, we also have, a lot of nonprofits that support PUSD, and one of them is Penn. And one of the things that we did last year is I was able to coordinate directly with them to let us borrow, and again, this is pre-COVID time, to let us borrow before every one of our meetings, their translation like headsets.
Oh.
And so then we hired, one of the things that we did is, how to sign up for parents to sign up, those who spoke both languages, to sign up to be translators, or maybe 2 per meeting, because it is a lot of work. And so we can encourage the participation of our Spanish-speaking community so we can have both at each meeting. And again, it just required a little more work planning and picking up the equipment and dropping it off right after every meeting. But after we started doing that, then it became something that they offered to the rest of the schools. And we thought that was very successful. Don't know how that's going to, obviously right now, but with technology, it means breaking out into a separate room. And like you said, maybe thinking outside the box, like how we can reach out so that they feel engaged. All of our community feels engaged and represented at these meetings.
You're absolutely right. I obviously don't know how it works, but I will say that I guess it is in a separate room, because I know Zoom does have translate. Like if you've got somebody that can translate for you, I don't know the specifics of how it works.
Well, but just to think about,
Right.
Different ways, whether it's providing the slides, if there's going to be a presentation in Spanish, even if it's led in English, and then just having an opportunity for them to ask questions in advance or post meeting, just a way to engage the community. So,
yeah, agreed, 100%. And good on Pasadena for doing that. Look at another way to, this is kind of more anytime. Look at your last year's membership list. Has everybody from last year joined again? Or if not, maybe you can send out an email blast. Hey, we're so grateful you were a member of our PTA last school year. We really hope that you're going to join us again this year. Something like that. And I think also, like, go back in the Wayback Machine. Make sure you invite. I would start with I'm sorry. That never happens. Phone rang. Start with every past PTA president at your school site. Invite them to, continue to support their PTAs that they were once the presidents of, and join them. Just, it's okay to, and alumni, all of that. Include other school groups. This one is more pre-COVID, but invite maybe your school boosters or sports teams, or certainly maybe like your ELAC, form of a relationship with other parent groups on your campus. Ask if you can attend their meetings, have them come to your meetings. You may have them on the agenda to make a presentation, something that's happening that affects students at your school. Track and reports membership progress. Do I have that on the screen? You should certainly have at every PTA meeting a membership report. How many members to date? Oh, and publicly post the progress. That's, I think, a little easier in pre-COVID times. I immediately think of the old-fashioned, thermometer or whatever, cute thing is at the elementary school, like a thing of popcorn and how much popcorn's in the thing as you approach your membership. Let people know how you guys are doing. And then this one's definitely pre-COVID, organize events, have a, back to school barbecue, all those, things we used to do and we'll do again someday. Have a teacher membership themed tea, have a special day for families that are PTA members, maybe at middle and high school, a discount, if you can work it with a discount on the yearbook or dances or something like that.
I have a quick question.
Please.
So as far as like our meetings go, how are we going to be able to have people, quote, sign in for meetings if they're on Zoom?
There's a couple of different ways. If it's depending on the size of your school site, they actually suggest a roll call at the beginning to see how many people are there, that, literally someone is watching the chat of the participants and calls out everybody's name. Some people I've seen for taking a picture of
like a screenshot.
Screenshot.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna confess, I think all of my meetings have been on Zoom. I'm aware that Google has options as well, but I don't know how those work. I'm sorry. I would say the very basic one is literally a roll call.
Okay.
Can I add because I had this conversation with the secretary yesterday. Before at the last meeting, our elementary school, our membership was so long, it would have taken the whole meeting just to do a roll call because it was like 400 people. So I think it was great. So one of the things that she mentioned was that they're moving, instead of just snapping the picture, which is what we did originally, was having the members type in their names in the comment box, because then is going to be used as a sign-in
signature.
Right. And so
Okay.
then they'll keep a record of the comments, and then that's something they can just print and include.
And that's okay. Like that's valid. That's going to be like recognized. And I mean, I don't, it's so weird how that's valid.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really, okay. Yeah. And we can only do the best that we can do.
Yeah.
I will say, because as we talked about earlier, and as I'm clearly demonstrating, we're all still learning.
Yes.
I will say there is, on the California State PTA website, there is, I can't remember the tab and I apologize, but it's something like COVID-19 resources or something. Mm-hmm. And it does have a few suggestions on how to hold your virtual meeting and different platforms, and suggestions for those.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, there's always a strong suggestion to have your PTA elevator speech, which is, just like, I'm sure you're all aware of the analogy of you're trapped with someone in an elevator for 2 minutes. It's short. The most important thing is that it's short, clear, and concise. Your message on the value of PTA. And really, I think these 3 bullet points cover it. You're supporting the valuable programs and services being delivered to your child at your school. And then hopefully those, once we've taken care of our child, hopefully we expand our world a little bit. And then we want to take care of the kids in the classroom and the school site and the district. And hopefully, our motto is every child, one voice. So let's, get to the heart. And anyway, sorry, I went off on my speech. Joining PTA, your dues support your school and students. It's completely separate from the obligation to volunteer and make other commitments. And your membership can pay for itself with tangible benefits. With a short, quick speech, which really, that right there is the heart of the presentation. Okay. Again, these are membership basics you all probably already know, but we just got to make sure we cover that. Anybody can join PTA. Everybody gets a membership card. That's one nice thing about Totem, is your electronic membership card. You want to make sure you're keeping a record of all your PTA members. In pre-COVID time, maybe you had an Excel spreadsheet or however. Again, Totem is very helpful in this, but you've got to keep a membership list. As a matter of fact, I read somewhere, I think it's here in my notes somewhere, you're supposed to keep according to the IRS, you're supposed to keep your membership list for 3 years. And you definitely want to have your membership list handy at every meeting, especially if you're going to vote on something that might be a hot topic, or your election meeting. Membership, I don't know that this is in the presentation. Here's my parliamentarian kicking in. You need to be a member of the PTA to vote at your PTA. And so if you want to, be part of the discussion on budgets or how you're spending your money or anything like that, you need to be a member to have a vote. So I need to amend my presentation to put that in there. Okay. Note to self. Report and promote membership at each meeting, at your board meeting and at your association meeting. Make sure everybody knows how many members you've got and how close you're getting to your goal. Hopefully everybody knows that your PTA dues are specified in your bylaws. Again, I like to choose $10 as my example because it's nice and round and easy. But it spells out where that $10 go. Currently National gets $2.25. California State gets $2 of that. First District gets 75 cents of that. And Pasadena Council gets 50 cents. And then the remainder stays at your school site. Now I recommend, and actually overall PTA recommends, you don't want your dues to be too high. Membership should not be viewed as a fundraiser. And I would say, especially right now, it should not be viewed as a fundraiser. You want it to be, you want to bring in enough money to exist as a PTA, maybe cover some basic expenses, but and I think right now, a lot of people, we don't know if they're on reduced income or what's happening with people's jobs. So I think you really want to be sensitive and keep your membership dues as low as possible. You don't
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
Adding the totem, how much, I don't know if this is true or not, it adds about $1.
It's $1 per member is the fee.
$1. That's across the board, regardless of who, how high, or
yes,
$1. Okay.
Yes, no matter what your membership dues are, it's $1 per member, and that dollar covers all credit card processing and all of that. But I do want to be clear, it's $1 per membership, not $1 per transaction.
Gotcha.
So if you're joining 5 PTAs or 5 members of your family are joining online, that's going to be $5.
Okay.
And I will admit we've gotten quite a bit of pushback on that. Well, we'll talk more in detail about Totem in a minute. I don't do promote membership. Oh, dues. Okay, right. You don't want it to be too high. You don't want it to be an impediment to membership by having your dues so high. But that is in your bylaws. Membership needs to be remitted each month from your unit to the council to the district, blah, blah, blah. And prepare your successor to succeed. Be kind and thoughtful to the person that comes after you, and hand over however you keep your notes. If it's in an old-fashioned notebook, or email them some files or whatever. Yeah, be thoughtful of who comes after you and share your information with them. One other thing I want to talk about membership dues. It's possible. Do any of your units have tiered dues? I'm not personally a big fan, but some do. Like because I like it easy. I hate to admit it. You know, everybody has the same price of membership. Some, maybe high schools do it, maybe more than others. Might have that encourage more student membership. Might have a student fee is X amount of dollars, and you know, every other member is, let's say, you know, $8 is the student and $10 is everybody else. I'm happy to give you more information on that if you're interested. How about we put it that way? If not, I'll save the explanation. Okay, I'm taking that as it's okay to move on.
Yes, yes, it's
Okay,
okay
great.
to move on. Yes.
Great. All righty. So, membership campaign in uncertain times. There is no single answer for any of this. And I'm going to go back to what I've said 100 times. You know your parents better than I know your parents. And you're going to hopefully know what will work better with them. And thinking outside of the box, it's time to try something new. I was going to say, what's the worst that could happen? So I don't think like a dance is a good idea right now, but where we're all together. But, you know, thinking outside of the box. This is where a lot of people have fun being the membership chairman. They get to be a little bit more creative. And we certainly need the creativity here. But social media is going to be our friend right now. And the national PTA, but California State PTA has so many new resources now. I've got the links in the handouts, and at the end, they are making it, I think, so much easier, certainly than it used to be, to get your PTA message out there. And this was a suggestion from those summer leadership things that California State did. Good old-fashioned telephoning. You know, call someone and, you know, hey, I noticed I didn't see you on the training the other day. I hope you're still interested in PTA, blah, 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 blah. Just talk to people. Totem's very helpful. Focus on joining. Okay, let's see. Oh, yeah, and again, it's interesting that we're seeing in some places more participation with online meetings instead of in-person meetings. All righty. Okay, so I think this is the really good stuff. The resources from California State PTA. So even they've had this for years, the California State Building Membership and Marketing PTA, their membership toolbox. They literally have pre-made flyers in 6 different languages that you can customize. If you're like me, then creativity is not high on my list of accomplishments. You can go in and find a cute flyer that, you know, is going to speak to the parents at your school site, type in your unit name, all of that kind of stuff. These flyers are great. Resources, merchandise, all of that. And that's the link there to the California State one. This is brand new, and I just talked about this last week on the summer trainings that they had. California State PTA now has a social media kit that it provides content. Oops. Sorry, sample posts and customizable images, clip art, things to do, newsletters. I was really impressed as someone who's, again, not at all tech savvy. I think these are great resources to help you make whatever kind of post, if you're on Facebook or if you're emailing or if you're on Instagram, Twitter. They've got different, different content ideas for lots of different platforms. And that is one thing they're really suggesting. Just don't only use Facebook, use Instagram, use whatever parents in your community like they've done or use. Again, the research has shown, and I didn't realize this, like more often you're going to you're going to reach moms, I think, on Instagram, and maybe like the elementary school moms might be on Instagram more than, I think the dads are the ones that are on Twitter. I'm sorry, I don't remember all the specifics. But, you know, it might be a slightly different message on each platform. Don't just stick to one thing. And good old fashioned, even just emailing your message. But I think this is great, the social media kit. I've talked a little bit about Nationals. Also has, I think, a really great membership. I love their theme, and they've also got a wealth of materials where you can, you know, go in and insert your name, your PTA name here. So what National is doing is using PTA as a verb. How do you PTA? How does your school PTA, instead of, you know, it being the PTA does blah, blah, blah. PTA takes action. And I loved their message, and they have tons of beautiful colored resources to draw from. We can look at those if you want. We'll see. We'll see how much time we have and what you guys want to do. But those 3 links right there, I think, are super helpful. Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about Totem. So from the member's point of view, it's very mobile friendly, the setup. You can do it all on your phone, take secure credit card payments, and you can have your membership right there on your smartphone. And now I confess, I personally have never done the setup of a unit. I was lucky when I took over, everything was already set up. But there's a link to the Totem page on California State's website. And that page has got links to how to set up. But you guys, each of you, your units already are set up, it sounds like. Is that right? Great. So at least you don't have to do the setup part.
I haven't set up. Sorry. We haven't set it up yet. Ours hasn't set up yet.
Oh, okay, great. So
Yeah.
have you at least received an invite as a leader?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
That's the first
all
place.
that we have. Yeah.
Okay, great. I was going to say, if you didn't, we can make sure that happens today. As I say,
Okay.
between Lorena or myself or Allison, we can make sure you get that. So great. That's the first thing. And it's a 2-step setup. Like, it's mostly the president or maybe you as the membership VP, but your treasurer has a component that we have to that they put in the bank information, and that has to be verified by another officer. And just to be clear, hopefully everybody is clear on how Totem works. One thing that I love, and I hope treasurers love about Totem, is you don't have to worry about the breaking out the per capita and forwarding dues. Once a month, you get a deposit from Totem, and Pasadena Council does, and First District and State PTA, they all get their portion of the dues automatically. You don't have to worry about that. So that's kind of nice. So one thing that's really great about Totem that I think units like is you can customize your page. You can, put in your school mascot, whatever cute messages or challenges or fun things you want to put. It's completely customizable to your PTA. Launch the online membership and promote online membership. Let me see, what is my next?
Michelle, I have a quick question.
Please.
So I just, while we've been sitting here, I sent an email to, sorry, I also have a mommy next to me.
That's fine.
We all do.
Yeah. Hold on, Jake. So, okay, so I sent a few emails to invite people to join Totem while we were on the phone. Like I tried to send one to you and Lorena. I ended up sending an email to you with our QR code and link. But with Lorena, I actually went into Totem right now and I tried to add her directly, like invite her directly as a supporter. And then I think I accidentally put her in as having paid $9 in cash. And so I don't know how to undo that now.
Okay.
You know.
Right. Well, I honestly don't know how to undo that either, but it's either e-membership or the Totem Help Desk. They're actually very responsive.
Okay.
They can totally walk you through that.
Okay.
If you send an email or just sent a ticket, because I just did this myself, I accidentally activated one of our expired members. They can deactivate. They'll just remove it. But just send them an email, and they're pretty responsive during the weekdays.
Okay. So Lorena, you might be credited already as a $9 membership, but I'm gonna contact the help desk to undo that, and then but I did email it to you, Lorena. So if you maybe just wait a day for me to fix this, then you could.
And I can go in there and pay.
Yeah, let me just, if you could do me the favor of just waiting a couple days, maybe next week sometime, so I can take care of it during the middle of the week. I'll contact them today to undo whatever I just did. But you've been invited via email, and I accidentally already inputted your information, so hopefully they can undo that or uncredit the $9 or whatever.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys very much.
No problem. Michelle, since we're asking questions, I just thought maybe this would be something that would be also a good way to sell parents to the idea of signing on through Totem. Obviously the remote piece, but it's really rather easy as a member just to go on there, and it took a whole of maybe 3 minutes to punch in my name and the information, select the school, and it took probably longer to type in my credit card information than anything else. It really is that easy and that quick, and doesn't ask for a lot of information. And maybe, for people who are also scared of technology and are not sure, well, how much am I going to have to spend signing up for an account? It's really rather easy. And so, when you're talking to your future potential members, just sell that as well, that it's really, really user-friendly, takes a couple of minutes, and they should be able to go in, sign up, and then be done within a handful of minutes.
That was without a doubt the goal. One of the very top goals was to make it as easy as possible for people to join. And then, frankly, to make it as easy as possible for them to join the next year. Like, I got my reminders they probably came July 1st. Did I want to renew my membership at the elementary school? Did I want to renew those memberships? And which I think that's a great advantage is Totem will be asking your members to join again. In addition to, you asking members, Totem will ask them for you as well. One thing that I forgot to mention about customizing the page for your school site, and this might apply to you guys in the elementary school. I know last year I met with an elementary school. It was very important to them to like the contests between the classrooms. So they wanted, they were first frustrated with Totem. They're like, well, how am I going to know what classroom to put so-and-so's membership in? If you spend some time in those initial setups, you can say, you can put in there what classroom is your student in, that kind of stuff. There's so many options to make it specific to your site that I think that's an advantage, or that's something nice.
As an elementary school parent, thank you for doing that. Our school didn't have Totem last year. We didn't, have that as an option. And I think part of the reason back then also with our membership chair was that is one of the driving things that we did at the school. And at our back to school night, we had percentages at each one of the doors with the number of percentage of enrollment to the PTA. And so not knowing how we would be able to account for that, it was very stressful for the membership chair then. So the fact that it's an option now, that is a great tool, because, having competition between classes, to reach whoever, and having a price for the first class with 100% participation, and then something for all the classes that reach the 100% participation was very important. So, thank you for making that change. That was fantastic.
Yes, and I think it is really important at the elementary school level. Your needs and wants are different necessarily than the middle and high schools. And actually, you reminded me something that Totem, well, actually, with lots of things we roll out, we didn't have all the features we wanted when it was first introduced to everybody. So I think that, if I'm going to be honest, between the 5 of us, there was a little bit of a rocky start at first with Totem. Certainly there was pushback on the fee, and that one, I have no, I can't do anything about that one. But it's improved since it was first rolled out, like being able to customize your page more and tailor it to what the information that your school needs. Some schools don't care about that, but the others do. So I wouldn't, if people were like, oh, I looked at it a year and a half ago and it was useless. It's not so useless anymore. It's better than it was. So if you get some pushback, ask them to please give it another try. Yeah, it'll keep your membership list for you, and you can also go in, let's say, you still have 5% of your parents still like joining the old-fashioned way or whatever. I'm guessing in COVID it's going to be a smaller percentage, but pre-COVID, there are some people that I still have a checkbook and write checks, and some, you can keep. Totem will create the list, that joined online, but you can also add onto just the membership list people that have joined the old-fashioned way. So you've got your list in one spot. It's half of the work is done for you, more than half of the work. And also it's a great, easy way to capture everybody's email. You can use it as it's on the next slide. There's a message center and all of that. So maybe we'll talk about that in a sec.
So you can add, Michelle, you can add members if there's a small hand of members that don't sign up using Totem and they use a check money, one of those 2 options. Right. You can manually add them as your membership chair to the report, the database, through Totem.
Yes.
And have it stay in Totem. That could be the hub. Okay.
Yes. And then what will happen also is when you add that information, if you have their email address, then next July, they'll get on that list to say, hey, be sure you join. Oh, I can't remember what schools you were, so I'm going to say my school. Did you join Burroughs High School yet this year? Or, so yes, that is a feature.
And can you also export that? And I know you're going to talk about messaging, but can you also export a copy of that database to keep a copy? Like if eventually we were to go back to in-person meetings, the membership chair would always have a printed copy of the roster.
Yes, I'm actually quite sure that you can.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I've not done it myself. Jeff is good at this stuff.
I'll ask
Jeff. Don't tell him I told.
Okay.
But
yeah, it's doable. All you have to do when you're in Totem, I think there's like an actions button towards the right. And then what you can do is you can export it as a CSV file and then convert it over to Excel. So that's what I do routinely. So I have it in Excel because I'm just an Excel person. So, and you get all of your information there, like the contact details, even when they paid. Because what I'm finding for this year is that they have when they first joined, which was last year. But then I have the parents that have renewed. So it's actually really helpful to see, you can do the filter so you get just your active parents, not everybody. So you can see your current membership. So that was just something that I had to figure out somehow.
This is perfect. This is exactly what I hoped would happen, that we're sharing ideas and experiences, because this is where I feel a little inadequate, where I'm not at a unit level and I have not personally done everything you just described, May. So thank you for sharing that with us.
No problem.
Good. We know it can be done.
Have a question. I was curious if maybe you've heard from other units. Last year, for example, we did have the pushback since we were rolling out Totem for the first time. And so what we did was the typical membership table at our like Friday assemblies or after school, and we would collect cash. And then what I would do was the manual process of then adding the parents into Totem. Curious as to what means you might have heard as to how we could still continue with a manual process for some parents who are just, reluctant to go online in terms of getting the cash from them. Because one thing too, we're not accessing our PTA mailbox on campus because volunteers aren't allowed. They're limiting those folks. I was talking to our treasurer. We can't do Venmo, which is, I think, what everyone likes to do nowadays.
Yeah, Venmo is person to person and not, sorry.
And so the only other option that we've sort of creatively thinking about is that we have on our PTA website, we do have a shop for like our merchandise.
Okay, yes, totally.
So we're thinking to just have it come up as a donation because we don't want to then steer people to buy membership directly from there. Because then I'm stuck doing the whole manual process. Because if you go to our website, we link it directly to Totem.
Oh, perfect.
So people go there. But I think that we're just trying to figure out what's another mechanism that we can get cash versus just doing an IOU.
Yes, I heard, okay, I don't love this option, but I heard it presented this past week is they're suggesting for some PTAs, well, actually even just getting any mail since school sites are closed and some schools are limiting access. Maybe it's time for your PTA to get a PO box, mail your check to PO box, whatever. It's, and then you certainly want to make sure more than one person has the key to that. I don't, it's certainly, I'm just going to say less than ideal, but it's an idea or an option. Or if parents are willing or interested to maybe have a designated, our PTA drive is somebody's going to be out in front of the schools with a mask and a box and drive by and drop your thing in to as socially distanced as best you can, collect memberships that way. Counting of money certainly is more challenging. Counting cash is challenging. It can be done. I'm flashing to the first time I went to an ATM after COVID, and I remember just looking at that and I thought, I don't want to touch any of that. So I probably shouldn't have said that, but it's certainly a challenge, but I'm going to, I think gloves and hand sanitizer and social distancing, it's my personal recommendation. It can be done. It's not great. Oh, and for bank deposits, you can use, certainly if anyone is writing you a check, I know at First District we have like some kind of check scanner thing where you can scan the check and the deposit is made directly. You can use like a Square and PayPal is fine, but that's another thing with a fee that, a different platform. Those are the options I've heard so far.
Okay, just curious.
Yeah, no, it's a tough one. It really is.
May, can I ask a question real quick?
Of course. Okay, really, we're at the end, so yes.
You guys used Totem last year, May, at your school?
Yes, we rolled it out for the first time last year.
And what was your, how was the offset of people who wanted to still hand in physical money, physical checks versus people who were just no problem, boom, 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 here you go, take my money online?
I don't know the exact proportion, but I can tell you it's probably a handful. I mean, I think
that were okay or were not okay with it.
That were not okay with Totem.
Gotcha.
So I preferred sort of the, again, it was that $1 transaction fee.
Yeah.
That seemed to be people's preference. But I think that people just also wanted to write a check. So I do think it was a small number. I'd probably say like maybe a fifth of our membership maybe was manually done that way. We
Okay.
really tried to make a push. I mean, we had created just to make it easier because the totem, when you actually get it for your school, it's like a long URL. So what we did, we made QR codes that they could just scan at our table. And then they would just do it. And then the bad thing is our school site, we have the worst internet. So then people would have to go home or do it from their car in the parking lot. You know, it's much better to do that way. But, you know, I do think that that was, you know, you will get some of that pushback for that $1 fee.
There's a lot of pushback on the fee. I thought of two last things.
Sorry, Michelle, if I could just add in, we thought about that too. This is Carla. We thought about that too, as far as the $1 fee and all that. And one of the things that I sort of presented, we had like a back to school Zoom where there was like, I don't know, 60, 70 people that actually ended up being able to join. But the way we worded it was basically, hey, you know, you can spend 55 cents on a stamp and mail it in, because really that's the only way to send us cash or check right now. Or you could do it from the convenience of your own home, from anywhere really, you know, from your computer, from your phone, and just pay the $1 processing fee. That's just, and while we were on this meeting, we started off, because we literally set ourselves up like the night before with Totem. The next day we had this big meeting, and we had 7 members with Totem. And by the time the meeting was over, we had like 25 members.
That's awesome.
So people like right away were like, because we presented the QR code at the code at the meeting, the principal did, she put it up there. And, you know, I explained real quick, you guys can just like scan a picture really quick, you know, and it'll take you straight to everything you need to know. And they did it. We literally gained like, you know, 15 plus members within minutes. So it was pretty cool. And everyone was responding in the chat. Oh, it totally worked. That was so easy. Oh my God, it was so easy. So hopefully, you know, word of mouth gets around that it's so easy that way. But really, you know, I don't know. I think that's a good like point to make to people, like, hey, 55 cents for a stamp, and then you got to go mail it, you know, or you could just pick up your phone and do it within 3 minutes, you know? Yeah.
Perfect. No, I love the sharing of success stories. I stopped sharing. The one thing on the Message Center, they also have multiple language support as well. So if that's helpful for you guys, just wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. And one other thing I wanted to say about the fee is that more than half of that dollar does go to the credit card processing. Totem is a program that was written specifically for California State PTA. So I think it breaks down to something like 40 cents of each of the dollar goes to Totem because they wrote this for us on spec. This is how Totem is getting paid for writing custom software for us. So I don't think that should be a big secret. And custom software is expensive. This is just my personal, and so it's, I don't find it unreasonable, but I know a lot of people, there has been a ton of pushback, and I just don't see that changing. The fee is the fee. Okay, so so that's the end of the presentation. And I understand, Lorena, you sent out the handouts to everybody, right?
I did.
Great.
Yes.
In there, I just want to mention some, again, whoops, my bangs are growing out, and I'm sorry. I thought I was past the awkward stage, but apparently not. It's right there. Anyway, sorry.
It's COVID time. It's COVID time.
It is. A couple of items in there kind of really are more for pre or post COVID life, but I thought, you know, I wanted you to have it anyway. The membership timeline is kind of the most traditional piece of information that's in there. But I did include 2 things about Totem, about the accounting guidelines for Totem. You might want to share that with their treasurer if they're not already getting it. And just kind of a Q&A or a frequently asked questions on Totem. I think that that's helpful. And the current membership perks, but those are going to change again soon. And that will be on California State's website when we get those. But I included that national membership, the National PTA Membership Toolkit. If you have the time, I really recommend going to National PTA's site and looking at their membership information. They really did a very detailed study about people's perceptions of PTA and prospective members, and there's a lot of information there, but a lot of it boils down to, if we're gonna, the short things are, we advocate for your student and every student, and the behavior of the PTA members at your school site is essential, that you're open and welcoming and that you're not a clique. To me, those are the most important points, but there's lots of information behind that. So if you have more time and are interested, strong recommendation. I don't know if you want to see what I see in Totem, where Pasadena's got 1,029 members. Good on you guys. I can look up your schools if you're interested. If there are any more question and answer or sharing, or
before we forget, I do want to take a picture of the group so I can share. That's my homework for
right. Everybody's
so I'm
supposed
getting
to
a
take
reflection.
I'll put my camera back on.
There you go.
I have kids running around behind me, so I was like,
I was trying to take a screenshot. Nope, that's not going to work. Let's see. Oh, maybe I'll just
turn my camera back on. Oh, there it is.
There you go.
Rena, I can do a screenshot from my computer.
Could you? Because I was trying to take a picture and I was like, wait, I'm getting a lot of glare.
Okay, ladies, everybody smile.
Hold on, have you smile?
Okay, let me see.
That's going to be a good one.
That's perfect. Thank you.
I did want to ask, because I had my son who was crying behind me for a little bit and wouldn't leave me alone. I couldn't hear anything for a little bit. I was like, one of you ladies was talking about uploading the old members to Totem. I missed that whole part. I don't know if it was May or Andrea that was talking about.
May was telling us how she did it.
Yeah, if you could please tell me again. Please. Yeah, or just what your experience was with that.
Sure.
I really appreciate it.
When you have sort of the leader view in Totem, we'll have an option to just add a member. So you just need to have their name. I think what I did last year at the tables is I had a piece of paper and I had parents put down their name, their email addresses, and then also their child's name, because you do have the option to link a student to the parent account. And then you just manually enter all of that in Totem. The other thing that I did, because we had a lot of parents that joined before they knew who their teachers were, is that I had to actually manually reconcile it, parents' names to students, which was a roster that I got from our office. And then I manually entered in all of the students, because a lot of parents didn't go back after the fact to then update it to include that. So that's another piece that you might have to do.
Yeah, that's already happening with us. People have already been, because that's one thing that I've been stressing. If you're going to use Totem, please enter your child's name, right? And people, I would say a third of them already don't have it. Yeah. So I just what I can basically do is grab, because this is our first year with Totem, so I could grab our memberships list from last year and then just cross-reference it maybe, right? And then add okay. And then the first part you were saying is when you had to manually add people to Totem, that's because they were paying cash or check. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
And then just make sure you, in Totem, there will be a field that will say, how did they join online? So if a member just went in online and did it, versus when you manually enter them in, it will say manual, and it will actually link whoever entered. So if you're treasurer or anyone else on your leadership team is entering, you'll always have a record of that, because that's important too.
Who entered the information?
Because especially keep in mind that those that are manually entered and they pay manually, your treasurer will then have to forward the $550 to district. So
for right now, for example, when I accidentally entered Lorena, and so she's in there as having paid cash, and I saw that it showed that I entered the information. Which I'll have to undo. I would have had to make sure I forward that money to the treasurer, or
Yes.
whatever, right? Okay.
Exactly. Just I mean, you'll work really closely with the treasurer because you will need to reconcile sort of those differences.
Okay.
So because when they do their monthly report, I think, in terms of reconciling the payments that they get from Totem and then what they have to disperse to council or district, I think that's an important piece.
So if we get it done efficiently and I enter all the information, it should be reconciled. Like if I'm up to date with it, I guess, right? It should reconcile for when she's ready to do her reports and the distribution. What was the other thing I was gonna? So because this is our first year with Totem, all of our members are going to be entered as new, right? Into Totem.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Good
luck.
question. Is there a multiple child option on Totem?
Yes.
There is. Okay, so that's in the setup. And then do we have to set that up in the initial setup, or is that already in Totem once we're in there?
Already there.
It's already there.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
You should be able to add all their children. And then just one tip I know that I learned was make sure you add them as a non-member. Otherwise, they'll charge.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sure. Although I will say children can be members, even elementary school kids. I had my child starting to join PTA in elementary school. But yeah, good tip.
Yeah, like you can purchase a membership for yourself, for them, for, yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Raina, did you get the photo? I sent it to you in the chat.
I just got it downloaded and yes, I have it.
Okay, perfect. I wasn't able to send it to everyone because I realized it goes to then everyone else.
Oh,
I guess.
perfect. I will, yes, saving it, downloading, and forwarding to Sochi. Perfect. Thank you so much, May.
No problem.
Do you want me to share my screen and show you like the social media kit? Or is that something that, sorry, you're happy looking at on your own? I don't want you to leave feeling like, well, she mentioned these resources, but
I've seen it actually. Our president sent it to us, so I've actually looked it over personally. Me, yeah.
I have it too, but I wouldn't mind you walking us through it if anyone else has time. It's up to you guys.
Sure.
I have it. I just haven't had a chance to look at it.
Okay. All right.
I would. Yeah.
Try the
Thank you.
screen share again. Right. Come on. Oh, duh. Big green button at the bottom. Okay. Okay. All right. Can you see that?
Yes.
Right. So this is the homepage for the social media kits. So, okay. I guess they're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And it's got, actually, I think like down here is, let's see what happens if I click here. Download Facebook image. I was thinking about it. Oh, awesome.
Oh, nice. All
right. So all of this stuff is already made in advance for you. And, oh, I love that. And let's see. Okay. And then let's see what, oh, it's probably going to be the same thing. Images for Twitter. All right, same kind of thing. But I think they've done a lot of the hard work for you. I'm secretly a really lazy person, so I love that I don't have to figure out how to create these great things. Clip art for newsletters. Is it going to be the same thing? Oh, okay, let's see. What does this look like? Oh, I guess that's probably like a click and drag for a newsletter kind of thing. Let's see. All right, let's go back and I'll also do a quick thing for, so I just went to the California, like you can see what I'm doing. The California State website, typed in social media kit, and then I'm going to type in the membership. What is it? What do they call it here? Okay, marketing for membership. they've got, oh, okay, that's the contest they have. But tons of flyers if you want stuff that's already ready-made. Let's see, I'm just picking this at random, membership themes and ideas. Oh, okay. Like, you know, what's a great theme? And I think that's a lot more fun at elementary school. Oh, I love that, you know, footprints worth following, stuff like that. Okay, great. So they can help you with your theme. Oh, if you guys want actual physical membership cards or envelopes, though, Lorena, contact us at the First District office. We do have those.
I have a few, and Carla was the recipient of my first drop-off. So, but yes, I will be checking in with you, Michelle, if I get any more additional requests and I run out of those envelopes.
Great, great. Oh, okay, this is what I was looking for, the customizable flyers. We're gonna I'm gonna pick one kind of at random. Why PTA in English, so I can read it. So, okay, that one is not one that you customize. Oh, that one's ready to print. I see, I looked at, okay. It's a sample flyer. Okay, where I guess you can take out Sunshine School and put in your school site and things that happen specifically at your school site. So those that don't want to reinvent the wheel, there's a basic wheel that you can modify. How's that for an analogy? Okay, is that good? I'm going to go back to the speaker view. Any other?
I have one question.
Oh, please. The questions are good.
The Totem website, does that give a list of the PTA discounts that offer PTA discounts?
I don't think it does.
Okay. But it does, you said it does give the virtual card, right? Once you sign up?
Yes.
Okay.
It gives you a couple different options to download your card. And it must be easy because I was able to get it on my own phone.
Okay.
Yeah, you can
And I
download
think-
it for your wallet. I don't know
Yeah.
what Android
Yes.
equivalent is, but you can easily download it there. The discounts are on the CAPTA site. If you search
Oh,
for
okay.
perks, there's like a flyer and they update it quarterly. So I think it's a summer flyer right now. I think it was in the attachments that Lorena sent too.
Okay.
Yes, and those last year they were updated quarterly, and yeah, the new one will be coming out soon with some changes. It's gonna be a weird year.
Less.
And
Yeah.
so we need to be nice to ourselves and everybody else, and take it as it comes.
Yeah.
Lower your voice, please.
Any other questions? I hope there's nothing big I left out, but advocacy. I had a friend at the beginning of the pandemic text me, she's from an elementary school, and she's like, I was kind of shocked, what is PTA, what is the purpose this year? And I thought, it's the purpose it's always has been and will be. We advocate for kids. And there you go. There's my
Michelle,
broken record for you.
because you said that led me to think of something else. Normally we had the ratio of memberships to fundraisers. Is that something like we'll continue to do that even during COVID times, even if the programs, what we consider a program may be changing?
It's interesting. Again, I'm going to go back to what works best for your school sites is what you should, I think, really pay attention to and ask your members what they want. My personal opinion is I would scale back on big fundraising stuff because so many people are impacted financially with COVID, with either reduced income or a lost job or who knows what. But that's my personal opinion. You guys will know what's best at your school site. And but PTA can still do things. I heard an example the other night I never would have thought of, but maybe a fun activity for elementary is an at-home scavenger hunt. This mom said, I was so grateful that I didn't have to entertain my kids for 45 minutes because the PTA had created this thing for the kids to go do in their own home. Or there could be, you know, at home, find a way to do an at-home mathathon or readathon or, you know, STEAM nights. And so it's gonna, you know, it'll be interesting. And we're going to be trying a bunch of stuff for the first time, and some things will work and some things won't. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it again. It's how you know, you're going to know what works best for your school. Maybe, you know, even poll your parents. What are you hoping we can provide for you this year? And I'm sorry, the information, the conduit of information. Keep them informed what's happening in your school district. Information, you know, from your school board, decisions that might affect, you know, school time or how much, you know, what is the required on time between student and teachers and that type of thing. Keep your parents informed. You can sign up on the California State website for several different email blasts that you might get, you know, either that focus specifically on advocacy, and some are on leadership. Membership will be sending, I don't know if in the past you've received the Membership Monday emails, that in the fall, every Monday there's, you know, just tips on membership. So be that for your community, you know, make sure you guys are sending out information to keep parents informed. And that's it. That's what I've got.
Thanks so much, Michelle and everybody. This is really helpful.
Super helpful.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's nice to have a community of people wanting to do better.
I appreciate the feedback and I appreciate the questions. And May, I got to say, I'm really grateful you had your totem membership. Your totem information you could share, because you're more experienced on that level than I am. So thank you for sharing that.
No problem. Happy to help. So Andrea or Carla, if you have any questions, don't hesitate. I think, Lorena, do you have like a membership like roster for all the schools? I guess
we do. We do. We still
awesome.
have a few positions that are being filled, and so I think what we're going to try to do this year with PTA Council is, you know, have, just like I've been emailing the membership chairs for today, and just in general, try to see how as a council maybe we can have more of the support, and with all the membership VPs and chairs, especially during this time of COVID, I think we'll have an opportunity to do that, so we can continue some dialogue amongst all the membership reps for our district.
Just because to even just share experience in terms of even like fun events that people are doing. Like
Absolutely.
We did a scavenger hunt with our Kinder Welcome. So that was fun. And because we're a Mandarin immersion program, we did it in Chinese and pictures. So that was kind of fun. Like kids could run around, get a crayon or get a water bottle. And then we also did a freeze dance party. So we had someone DJ, and then we just had the kids go nuts. And it was a great way to let them release some steam. So
awesome.
Those are great ideas. You know,
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Hey, I want to tell you guys, in the time that we've been meeting, Pasadena Council has 10 more members than they did when I first looked. Good job. So Lorena, you've recorded this. I don't have to worry about that.
Yes.
And
yes.
I don't think between the 5 of us, I don't think we had anything typed in the chat, right? We're safe. We don't have to say.
No. Everything. Yes.
Is there anything else, or is it time to say goodbye?
we're good.
I think we're good. Thank you, ladies. This was super helpful.
Thank you. I appreciate
everyone.
people
Appreciate it.
taking time on a Saturday morning, and thank you.
What else are we going to do? We can't go anywhere.
Perfect.
It was a pleasure meeting everybody. I truly enjoyed my time with you guys, and your enthusiasm. It's great.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you for your time, Michelle. We look forward to We'll be in communication, and we look forward
Yes,
to
we
being in
absolutely
to
will.
working together.
It's
Perfect.
a real pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.